Kelsey at the movies!
Yay!
And Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel, where worlds collide! Two of our favorite things in the world are ice cream and candy. But two of our other favorite things in the world are boxing and movies.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that we have our own shows for Kelsey at the movies, which you're watching, or Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel, which you might also be watching. Who knows which one is this? We don't know. We saw Creed 2. Yo, Adrian, he did it. That didn't happen.
So yeah, we went and saw Creed 2, starring Michael B. Jordan, Sylvester Stallone, Tessa Thompson, Mrs. Huxtable. What overall would you think of the movie?
Excited to go see a Rocky movie or a Creed movie, whatever. I thought this was a good sequel to the original Creed. I was super impressed with the first Creed movie. I thought it was a really excellent movie. More like the first Rocky movie than it is like Rocky 5 or whatever. This movie was not quite as good as the original Creed movie. More like Rocky 2. And it's called Creed 2, so there you go.
Yeah, for me, like, it was a fun movie, especially as a boxing fan and somebody that, you know, like, I like the Rocky movies and that whole thing. And so it was fun. If you like Rocky, they gave you, I mean, obviously, like, it had Ivan Drago in it. So, like, it's a callback to that. But they also gave you some other little things that, like, as a Rocky fan, you'd be like, oh, you know.
Yeah, they're good at doing that.
You really like, yeah. So, but I agree, like, it wasn't as good as the first Creed movie. So go, wait, or skip.
I'm going to say go see this movie. It's a good Rocky/Creed movie, and people seem to love it. There were a lot of people in the theater tonight. We tried to go opening night, and we couldn't get a ticket, and it was still packed here 4 days later. So the buzz is out there. I think people already want to see it. So if you want to go see it, go see it.
I'm going to say wait. I don't know. It just wasn't I don't know.
What else do you want them to see, Rachel? Put you on the spot. You got nothing.
It wasn't like enough for me. I mean, if you're not a boxing fan, and maybe you don't care that much about Rocky, like, I'm like, well, why would you go see this? Like, I don't know.
I don't think you're going to see Creed 2, though, unless you saw Creed. You know what I mean? Like, if you saw Creed and you want to see the sequel, go see the sequel. If you didn't see the first Creed movie, then don't go see Creed 2.
Okay, here's the thing. For me to give you a go, like, it has to stand alone by itself. It can't be like, well, go because you saw all the other movies that preceded it.
I'm more liberal.
Spoilers!
Yo, Adrian, spoilers! Spoilers over here! I don't know how to do it.
So, you know, first he loses a fight, and then Rocky gets in the ring and wins.
Yeah, I didn't expect Rocky to be the one that beats the young Drago. That was unrealistic.
Yeah. No, so that didn't happen.
That's not a real spoiler.
Here's what I liked about the movie. It had some really great themes in it, with its focus on Adonis Creed and him having to really figure out who he was. And he went through a lot of, I mean, it was really difficult, and I thought that they showed the emotion that comes with just living life and how difficult things can be. And so he's losing a fight, loses his trainer, then his wife's pregnant, or I guess it's not his wife, his fiance's pregnant, and then there's like, he can't figure himself out, so then he isolates and is distant from everybody, and I thought like that was all really good in the movie. Yeah,
it was emotional. I thought that they did a good job of portraying the boxing world in some of the antics that were pulled promotionally.
Yeah.
Even the fact that this fight would happen, because this happens a lot in boxing. Especially the idea of Ivan Drago being that trainer/father who then kind of forces his son into writing what happened in his life, like living in response to what happened in his life. This happens in boxing all the time. And so that was interesting to see on the screen. And I thought the characters, for the most part, all had an arc. The principal characters.
Yeah, they're like, you know, Adonis Creed is the main character, but they did a good job of, like, you had Rocky dealing with, like, a personal issue in his life. You had Creed's fiance dealing with, like, the fear of her losing her hearing and that affecting her career, and then if their baby wasn't going to be able to hear, and the fear as new parents dealing with that. And then you even had the Dragos, who were at first, like, really horrible.
I like that he told him to break him.
And it even had like a little bit of an arc for them. And in a movie, you can't go down like all those paths.
Too many rabbit holes in movies, because that's not how life is.
But they managed to keep the focus on Adonis Creed and have that be the main character arc. But they gave you little bits, and I thought that it gave layers to the movie. So yeah, I did like that.
Yeah, it was definitely a different feel to this movie than was in the first movie. The first movie was directed by Ryan Coogler. The second movie by Stephen Caple Jr. Yes, I left that up before we shot. Anyway, you could definitely tell about a third of the way through the movie, I was like, this doesn't seem like the last movie.
Yeah.
So I was interested in finding that out afterwards, and it was the case. Doesn't mean that they strayed too far from the original Creed movie. In fact, in a lot of ways, it was more like the original Creed movie than many of the Rocky sequels were like the original Rocky.
Yeah.
Now, Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 are nothing like the original Rocky. They're completely different styles of movies. And they work because of the time period they're in.
Yeah.
I think this one worked. They stayed true enough to the original Creed. And I don't know, I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't a great movie in that many times during the movie it seemed slow, not poorly done, just kind of like the beginning was kind of slow for me. They did some stuff though, and it kind of picks up for me as I watched it. And yeah, overall I just had a good time in the movies. I got to wear my Brandon Rios versus Mike, you probably can't see this, Alvarado 3 shirt there, you know, because I was like, boxing, y'all, yeah. And Rachel was shadow boxing the whole time the fight was on. She was just like, so people know what's up. But yeah, I really liked going to the movies and going to see a good boxing movie. Boxing movies are pretty common as far as like others compared to other sports. There's way more boxing movies than there are other sports.
Yeah,
and I like that because I love boxing and I love going to the movies, and so it all comes together for me.
Yeah, so the parts that I didn't like about the movie was that there were some parts that were pretty, for me, seemed unrealistic. So there's 2 fights in the movie, you know, so Creed loses the first fight, wins the second fight.
Well, technically he wins by disqualification.
Okay, right. But I mean, like, he was getting beat down. Almost dies.
Kind of like when Roy Jones fought Montel Griffith. It's kind of the same thing happened. That's the one where he was fighting the guy, and the guy was... Oh,
well, yeah, it's his DQ.
Yeah, and he went down, he had his knee on the ground, and Roy hit him and knocked him out. Except in this one. So Roy knocked the guy out in the next fight. This one, that didn't happen.
No. But, like, the difference, like, the training montage we got, to me, didn't warrant the changes in Creed's fighting style, like, in the ring against this huge guy. So I thought that was just a little unrealistic. And although I enjoyed the Rocky callbacks with some of the music and different things, it was... Like, it made me smile, but it's also cheesy, but I still like it, you know?
Yeah, I thought they did a lot better of that in the first Creed movie than they did in this one.
But this one, it kind of stood out.
Everybody loves Rocky, so you're just like,
yeah.
I love Rocky too. You know, I kind of disagree with you a little bit about some of the strategy of Creed in the second Drago fight. Mm-hmm. And then I think it intended to depict when a fighter is a good boxer and uses speed, and he's against a larger fighter with a longer reach, with a lot of power, the only way to stay away from that reach and power is to get inside. And I think that's what they were trying to...
The defense that he had seemed over the top to me. Like, he dodged so many of these huge punches that it wasn't that he did it, it was like to the excess that he did. And I thought they could have choreographed the fight better to make it not seem, to make it more realistic.
And to be devil's advocate, though, it was explained in the movie because Drago was raw and hadn't fought at the level that Creed had fought at. Mm-hmm. You'll see that a lot with raw fighters, is that they throw big punches and they looping punches. Yeah. And quality fighters can kind of dodge underneath those. It isn't realistic like this. Any Rocky movie you go see and watch that's not realistic boxing, and this isn't.
No, so like what I compared it to was compared it to Southpaw. When I watched the boxing in Southpaw and the training in Southpaw, that was really, to me, I felt like the lead character guy in that, like, really, it's like he became a boxer.
Well, they did a better. I think what you're trying to say is that they did a better job in that movie of kind of showing all that.
Yeah.
For the audience.
Right.
In this movie.
So I thought it was a big jump. Like, maybe Creed did learn all that out in the desert in his little training montage thing. But what I saw was a lot of running on the highway, lifting a big weight with his head, and, you know, taking a sledgehammer to the desert ground. You know, I saw one little scene where he was in a ring fighting a guy, you know, learning how to fight on the inside.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just seemed excessive to me, the number of punches he dodged, and that when he hit this big huge guy, the guy was like, and I was like, well, that seems like a little over the top right from the beginning. Like, you want to give that to me in round 8 or 9, like when the guy's tired, but from round 1, it was just
straight up Rocky movie stuff. To me, the Creed Drago fight that ends the movie, the second fight, it was entertaining, but it wasn't as entertaining as many of the other Rocky fights we've seen, right? Like, if you were going to look at just the fights in the movies, the most entertaining fights were I think Rocky 2 had probably the most entertaining one. You know, Rocky 4 against Drago was really entertaining as a fight. The first Rocky fight was entertaining. Rocky 3 was to an extent.
I even wondered. I was like, well, what if they have him lose this fight?
Yeah, I thought that would be interesting.
Because I thought it would be an interesting.
And he just loses. I'm like, that's life.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed watching the movie. I'm glad we could watch it together because we're both astute boxing fans. When we watch boxing at home, whether it's on DAZN or Showtime or Fox Sports 1, Rachel wears a monocle.
Okay.
Because she's like, I'm so high class. I'm so smart.
I am a little sad. If you're not a boxing fan, something you might not know is in a lot of boxing movies that you watch, the people they have calling the fight are the people that call boxing on HBO. So Jim Lampley has been in so many boxing movies, and he was in this one calling
Kellerman, this fight. Roy Jones Jr.
And they're newer, so they haven't been in as many movies, but they were in this movie. I'm pretty sure Max was in the first Creed movie.
Yeah.
So, you might not know, HBO is not in the boxing business after 2018.
So it's sad.
So, yeah, it's a little bit sad to be like, when I see another boxing movie, who are they going to have calling the fights?
Maybe tie that to the final shot where Rocky was talking to Creed, and I think this might be Rocky's last movie. You know?
Right, yeah.
I kind of put that out there. And so both Rocky is going out for Bachelor and HBO boxing. Who's next, Goldberg? Nobody's going to know what that means. Who's next? Who are we going to lose next?
Oh.
Any final thoughts, Rachel?
We learned that the guy playing Ivan Drago's son is maybe a real boxer in real life.
Yeah, strange. We just looked it up, Googled right before now, and he's a fitness model for sure.
Okay.
And it said he was a Romanian boxer.
But he's not on BoxRec.
I searched his name in BoxRec, and usually that comes up pretty fast.
Yeah.
Few things that wasn't on there. So I don't know. We'll have to dig further into it, and then we're not going to tell you.
And then we were happy to see Andre Ward.
Andre Ward was in the movie.
Was in the very beginning of this movie, and so he's he's champion, like world champion boxer.
He's retired.
Retired, but might come back. But really great fighter.
He's the next Floyd Mayweather, except you don't know about him if you don't watch boxing.
Yeah.
So he's as like
he's
great
not mouthy.
Huh?
So he's not mouthy.
He's not mouthy, and that's basically it. He ain't mouthy. You know who is mouthy? People who don't like, comment, and subscribe to either Real Talk or with Chelsea at the Movies. Technically, if you like, comment, and technically if you subscribe, you're subscribing to both because that's how we have it set up. We don't even need one thing to cake on. Or both things. We
Can't
just need
you
one.
subscribe to a playlist?
I don't know. Don't even do that. Just subscribe to the whole channel. Subscribe to us. Do it. Do it.
All right. Bye, guys. So, Kelsey, I'm sleepy.
So, Kelsey, I'm sleepy.
And,
sequels seldom are.
Yeah.
But
sometimes, yeah.
They sometimes are. That's a little A little knowledge for you. 'Cause sometimes they are.
What?
You got nothing. Tell them what else to see that's out at the movies then.
Why?
I don't know.
Just stay home.
Just go support boxing movies, people.